Boom! And we're back. I forgot. I don't know what to do with my hands. Hey, guys. Welcome back to another Tuesday night.
Oh, boy.
Chat with the Muskrat and Mr. Creole Catfishing. What's going on, my Cajun brother?
I had something classy and inspirational to say, but when you pull that move, it just did. Boop. That's it. Gone. See you later.
Yeah. I'm going to blame it. I've had a very long week. A lot of been busy, and a lot of other personal stuff and just a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
This head is cloudy.
Yeah, and it has just been raining here. Just rain. It is, and no end in sight either.
I'm going to plead cloudy with a chance of ignorance.
Yeah. That's pretty much what's going on.
So, well, welcome in the show tonight, guys. I see Mike Greenwell, Brian over Catfishing Bandit, Daryl Trophy Seekers, Big Rich Catfishing, Dale Hayslips in the house. Tonight we're going to talk a little bit about river gauges and kind of some of the things we go through. Now, me personally, I know that there's going to be a lot of other people that use other types of information, and I would love to hear and see from that, and maybe get more tools in our toolbox, which is ultimately what we're here to do.
Yep.
But we're going to cover some of the things that at least I know that I use on a daily basis, and Jeremy as well. Those of us that fish rivers, rely on our information heavily. I will go on a limb. Actually, I won't go on a limb. I'll just tell you flat out. I look at the river gauge every day.
Yep.
I look at it every day. I may only look at it once a day, but there's times I've looked at it 3-4 times a day. Like right now, our river is going berserk. Here, I'll see if I can pull that back up. I don't know where my picture went. Let me see here.
I shouldn't highlight this comment, but I'm gonna anyway. From my dad, against my better judgment, I'm gonna highlight this. Just it's kind of funny.
That's it.
Kind of, but that's
Happy
it. Happy
birthday,
there.
Jeremy Fumore, and you can have the old man seat in your boat. That's right. Yeah. We talked about it earlier, but tonight is Mr. Creole Catfishing's birthday today. Turned 35.
Yeah, because you're gonna make me choke. It's been a little while since I've been 35. I promise. Quite a while.
What in the world happened to my? There it is. There we go. I was complaining that my river has gone wild,
I know,
and
right?
This is just a screenshot I took just a little bit ago here of what I'm looking at here on the Ohio River, and we'll dig into more of it here in just a little bit. But if you're familiar with our area, this is kind of stuff we see a lot, unfortunately, as our river jumped from right around 14 and a half feet to 22 feet. And we kind of did some math, and it's right around 12 to 14 hours. So 14 hours, we went from 14 to 22 feet. So, and then it started to drop real hard. And then today it said, never mind, and going right back up again. So those are the types of conditions that make my life so stressful, is trying to get out there and get after some fish when these are the kind of conditions I'm looking at. So,
yeah, because I mean, we all know that ideally fish want stable conditions, so their mind is on eating and not moving.
Consistency,
now, consistency is the key here. I mean, 3 days would be really nice. I think at this point, Roger's hoping for 24 hours of consistency. It don't look like he's going to get it anytime soon by the looks of that graph.
You're right. You are correct. We'll say a few more hellos here real quick. I seen Freddie's in the house, Mr. Bobcat. I got some. I pulled up some information today from his neck of the woods too, so we'll kind of glance at that as well. There's a lot of the lakes in the Tennessee River. That's all part of the Tennessee River system. So even though you're looking at lake data, that data is being generated from the dams. Freddie's in the house, man. What an announcement this week. Freddie and Nina rolling out the new rods.
Yes.
So I won't try to steal any of that from him. I'm sure he's got plenty to say Thursday night and talking about that. John Patrick Jr.'s in the house. My buddy Whitey Fry is in here. What's up, Whitey? Chris Hill tuning in as well. Welcome in. Let's see. I hate leaving anybody out, but eventually the show gets so fast.
Oh, I know.
Hey, we got Buckeye Catfishing, Mr. Jim. What's going on, buddy? Man, I haven't heard or seen much from you. I hope all is well. I hope you've been out on the water. I haven't seen much from you. Shoot me a message if you get a chance. Mr. Lee Evans is in the house as well. Richard, Fishing and Freedom. Holy smokes, they're just pouring in now. Goes up and down every day.
Last night.
Can't keep consistent. Yeah, well, I'll tell you, even with that, if you guys aren't friends with War Pig, him and his wife, man, they still consistently get on good fish, even through the conditions. These guys have been going out, putting in the time, and man, it's fun when you see a couple out there or kids out there doing it. Let's see what Gabe has to say here. Hey, everyone, I got in the live late, but today is my dad's birthday. He's 41 years young. If y'all don't mind, wish him a happy birthday when you can. Oh,
killing me.
Hey, I tell you, Pat's in the house, Real Beast. This is going to be good one, folks. Hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Harold, for that. We're getting ready to start digging into the meat and potatoes here in just a second. I'm trying to get this. Oh, there we go. Nah, maybe I better not. I better not. I was going to drop the link and get a couple folks up here saying happy birthday to you with me.
You better not. You better not. I will find a way to reach through this computer screen.
You better have a long arm, man.
Oh, boy. I love y'all. I do. I love y'all, but y'all killing me.
No,
y'all killing me.
Hey, man, birthdays, they come and go. Every now and then I even forget how. Oh, they'll switcheroo on me.
I'm trying to please our fans.
Hey, my brain is not working properly.
Mine either. Don't feel bad. Mine either.
Wow. I've had a long day. Some folks know what kind of day I've had, and I'll just leave it at that. But James Bake Fox is in the house and saying happy birthday to you, brother. That's
appreciate it.
Thank you, Bank, for tuning in. All right, so let's get started here. We'll talk a little bit about, and it doesn't matter, Jeremy. If you want to start, you can. I've been hogging the camera here, so why don't you go ahead and kind of give these guys a little bit about what you look at down there, and you'd be surprised how similar this stuff is to what we look at here.
It's all similar. Well, just to start off from the basement, let's say, when you hear someone talking about a river gauge, it simply is exactly that. It's a point on the river established by whatever agency controls that river, where they measure the height. Some places they also measure flow at that point. And information from those gauges is available, certain websites, certain apps. That's some of the stuff we're going to show y'all tonight. Now, the numbers that you're going to look at, they don't necessarily correlate from one gauge to the next. All that reading is an arbitrary number, starts at 0, which sometimes 0 means the riverbed, sometimes it doesn't. But it's basically so you can compare numbers on the same gauge for a height. 28 on a gauge by me does not necessarily correlate to the same height 28 as where Roger's at. It's not the same thing. You can't bring the same set of numbers from one gauge to another. But a program that I use at home a lot when I'm looking at river gauges is this one right here from the National Weather Service. Okay. Water.weather.gov. And you go into you see this one that's highlighted right here, river forecast. And y'all can see that I've got my home state highlighted. And every one of these dots and squares is a separate gauge where they monitor river height. Like I'm gonna go to my home gauge on the Mississippi River as a gauge called Red River Landing. And all you do, you go on the dot and it shows you. I'm pointing at the screen like people can see me pointing at it. But Jesus. You hover your mouse over it and it'll actually show you Mississippi River at Red River Landing. And you simply click on it. And you got to give it a minute because this thing, mine's a little slow. But you literally click on it and it pulls up an area map of all the gauges in that area. So I just simply hover my mouse over Red River Landing again. And there's the gauge. See, I'm pointing at the screen again. But right here is the gauge information for Red River Landing. And as you can see right now, we've got a pretty much a nice, slow, steady fall going on over the next, you can almost say the next week or so. And it's just dropping slowly. And what you're going to look at on the graphs, it's a little different for everybody's area because the Mississippi is so deep and it fluctuates. It has the potential to fluctuate so much. My numbers up on the left side here could possibly range a lot higher than what other people's do. And my timeline, because it's the Mississippi, may be longer or shorter. But any gauge you look at, it's basically going to be set up just like this one is here.
Hey,
this
Jeremy,
blue.
Let me stop you for a second, just real quick. I caught this in the chat, and I just wanted to stop for a second and let him know that, if you need anything,
absolutely.
I couldn't even imagine your situation. And if you just want to talk, and if you don't know that neither one of us can talk quite a bit, you're in the wrong place. But man, if you just need somebody to talk to or somebody just to listen, reach out, man. There's so many people here in the community. Never feel like you're alone, brother. The community is huge, and we'll be right behind you. So I don't want to stop the show and change the mood, but man, that hit me right there. So
it does. And I'm not, and I apologize. I'm not looking at my chat. I'm looking over here at my other screen. I wasn't even looking at chat.
No, you're good, man. If you need anything, just reach out. Whoever you're comfortable talking to. We're all here for you, man.
Yep.
So anyway, I'm sorry, brother. Let's get back at it.
No, that's all right. So anytime you're looking at these gauges, you're pretty much always going to see the same couple of things no matter what. First, you're going to see is this blue dashed line going right up the middle here. Yep. That is your current reading. That's where you are right now, this day and time on the timeline. That's where you are. And always up top, latest observed value. It's exactly what it is. 6 p.m., we had a reading of 27.22 feet at that gauge. And usually they'll tell you what flood stage is at that certain gauge, which right now we ain't worried about flood stage right now. We are low. But it's important that this blue line is here because what's to the left of it in blue, that's your actual historical data. That's all the readings that have happened prior to this time and date, all the way back to, you can just about say a week ago. This one goes back 7 days to last Tuesday. I can look and see what the river has done. Now, everything to the right of the vertical line in, I guess you can call that purple, red, whatever. That is the predicted. That is the future of what they think that river is going to do. And in this case, it goes ahead almost 2 weeks for me.
Yeah, that's crazy. I've never gone that far. Hey, real quick here, Lee Evans had a great question, and it looks like most of the people in chat are giving the exact answer I'm going to give here, which is generally a rising water is a better bite. Now, with that being said, a drastic, like what I showed you guys earlier, drastic rise or drastic falls are not good generally either way. I'm not real excited about fishing tomorrow. I'm thinking about going to a lake and just stocking up on bait and maybe even doing some crappie fishing. I haven't not done crappie for a while, but slow rising is way better than slow falling. You can catch fish in both, but overall rising is better than falling.
And you see, I may be the only one that'll argue with you on that one.
Yeah.
Me personally, when it's slow, like you said, when it's slow, I'd rather a fall than a rise.
Really?
Now, I have a couple of reasons for that. One is when my river falls slow, that means it's drawing water out of all these little bayous and canals and everything that dumps in the river. It draws that water back out. And anytime I've got water out of these dumping into the river, that sets up a good situation for me. That sets up a good point to catch some fish. And also on that slow fall, my fish tend to pull towards the main channel more. They tend to get in these scour holes and these troughs. They try to find the deepest water they can. And in those cases, it's very predictable about where I'm going to find fish because they're automatically going to pull down to that deeper water more in that main channel. Whereas when the water rises and pushes water in these little bayous and everything, I can't go fish those. They're too brushy, they're too narrow, they're too nasty. Sometimes that puts fish in situations where I can't catch them. So to me, a slow fall, I like it for the way my river is set up in my situation.
Yeah, that's I was looking at Facebook. I wanted to try to, we've had a couple of Facebook users in here. Somebody says I like a slow fall personally. So I was trying to figure out who that is because, like you were saying, that's not common for, most areas or most bodies of water.
I think personally, I think that speaks to more somebody's fishing style than anything else. I'll be honest with you. I think the way I like to fish, I like fishing deep water. I like fishing those deep holes, those deep troughs. That's just, I really like anchor fishing, precision anchoring in those situations, sometimes suspending in eddies, deep holes. And I think that slow fall helps the way I normally like to fish.
I got you.
I will say that. I think other people's style, how they fish, well, that slow rise benefits them with what they're comfortable doing.
Well, the same with, like what we got here, ours isn't the big rivers, but the smaller creeks and stuff, as that water's falling, is pulling the bait out. And a lot of people that like to anchor or spot lock on areas sit at these creek mouths and, wait for these fish to come in and out of the creeks. And so, like you said, now if you're suspend drifting and the water's falling, that's a different scenario. They're not going to be out. Generally, they're not going to be out feeding on, mussel beds. They may be on the move. So, drifting channel ledges is going to generally be more productive, in my opinion, than. So, you're exactly right. The way you fish and style you fish, this informational.
Yeah. So see that's a good little tidbit right there. Everybody needs to remember if it's slow, a hard rise, hard fall, it's tough to catch fish. I will tell you that in a situation, it's tough to catch fish. But when it's gently, I'm going to say a foot per day or less, rising or falling, there's always a way to find them and catch them. Now, you may have to go to a style of fishing that you're not really used to doing, not comfortable, but it doesn't mean that, the river's coming up slow, they just can't be caught today. I'll just soon stay at the house. No. Because me in particular, I only get a certain amount of time, a certain amount of days to fish, and that is it. I don't really care what the river's doing. I'm going to go. No matter what, I'm going to go. But depending on what the river's doing, depends on what I need to do to contact fish. I don't have the luxury of fishing when the river's good. I hardly ever fish when the river's good. And that's a lot of us. Look, we work for a living, you got to play the hand you get dealt. but understanding what's going on with your river and where to find them, it can make you a big difference of putting fish in the boat or not.
Well, and that's the thing about the historical data. You can look and see, okay, I got a fish Saturday. Man, it's been falling, ever since Tuesday. Or, man, it's been on the rise. Hey, I think instead of doing this, I'm going to do that. And so
exactly,
this kind of stuff helps you. And, especially if you go to an area you're not used to fishing. There's some other tips here or some other ways to get around some of the stuff. So let me see if I can get this up here. Let's see. Oh, I see what I did.
River dumps into a lake. Do you fish the dead water or above in the moving water? I love moving water. I'm a river guy. I love moving water. That does happen in certain situations around here where these rivers dump into the oxbows. And in my experience, and some people that I know really well, right where that river water is coming into the lake, they don't catch a lot of catfish right at that point. They really don't. They catch a lot of drum, a lot of gar, a lot of who knows what else. But it seems like when they back away from the mouth and find the first nice ledge, hole, something like that away from that mouth, even though it's a quarter, half mile away, that's more where these people are finding fish in that particular situation than fishing right in the mouth, right where they're coming out.
Yep. Yeah, we do the same thing. Sometimes it's crazy because sometimes they'll be above it, sometimes they'll be right in the mouth of it, and sometimes they'll be below it.
Yeah.
More times than not, I think they're below it.
Yeah.
But they're going to go where the bait goes, and wherever it goes is.
Yeah, exactly.
So here's another piece of information. So I'm going to show you a different website. This is the USGS website. And I'm going to pull that comment down real quick. So if you see at the top of the screen, USGS, a lot of guys that use this stuff will go, basically all I did was Google my dam, and it popped this up, and I can scroll down here and it's going to show you two different things. One is the headwater. Now, it's probably very small on your screen, and I mentioned it before, but in my area, the headwater does not move much. They keep it around 12.5. If you can look closely enough at this gauge is measured in inches. Inches.
Oh, wow.
It's 1 foot, but the gauge is measured by 11, 11 and a half, 12, 12 and a half, 13. Jesus. It stays between 12 and a half and 13. That's 6 inches. They keep that water. All right. So because that water has to stay within that 6 inches, you guys see that parameter there. That's how I get this. They will dump and hold and dump and hold and dump and hold whatever they have to keep that level there consistent.
That's right.
So because on this pool water here, the headwater, they've got a lot of houses and businesses and everything right down on the waterfront. Exactly. That's where the money's at. They're not going to let that flood. They've got their say-so in on that about what's going to happen. And unfortunately, downriver, there's not much on the river that can be damaged unless it gets really, really out of control.
Yeah.
And so they have the freedom to do this. Now, here's one of the other really, really good tools up here is you can look at this and say, okay, I get it. But you can also go up here to the very far right, and it's showing 7 days. Or you could go back and change the year. I can go over here and change this to last year and see what we were dealing with around this time last year. And so let's say you're trying to get historical data. So right now I've got somebody. Hey, wait, I must not change something right. Hang on.
Uno momento, por favor.
It didn't take it for some reason. What's going on here? I clicked on it. 2021. Oh, is it because I'm not choosing a day?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, that was it. I didn't choose a day. We'll go back to 2020 and choose. I choose 823, 828. All right. Sorry about that. So if you go back here, this is what we're looking at then. And unfortunately, for some reason, our river gauges have changed, but it used to give us information right here in cubic feet a second.
Mm-hmm.
And so we can see that 2 years ago it was running 29,600, which this time of year that's about average.
Yeah.
You can see here that it didn't really get crazy. It kind of stayed right around the same. Nothing looked like we got some rain there, but on average, that's about the same. So the reason I bring that up is like somebody right now is looking at fishing the Ohio River. They're not used to fishing the Ohio River, and we're talking about fishing in November, and they're not sure what the river is like in November because they're not used to fishing the river. And so these tools here can help us kind of show like, hey, in November in 2021, 2020, 2019, this is about what the river's at, and give you an idea what you're heading into.
Yeah.
So if you take the time to play around with these dates, you can put a lot of information together as far as historical data and making preparation for what you plan for.
Yeah. And historical data can help you a lot out too, because let's just say right now you're struggling big time, cannot catch a fish. Okay. But for some reason last year at this time, you were catching fish. Well, you can go back, look at the historical data and say, okay, what was that river doing? Why are we not catching fish now, but we were catching fish at this time last year? Yeah. You can go back and look at those gauges, look at those flows and say, oh, okay, the river was doing completely different than what it's doing right now. And that could start to help you put that puzzle together as to why you're not on fish right now. It'll help you figure things out, because I've done that the past 2 years. I've done that because it seems we go through this pattern of certain spots are really hot like that year. Then the next year can't catch a fish there to save your life. Well, now we're back to the pattern we were in 3 years ago. These old spots that we caught a lot of fish in before I was doing YouTube, they're starting to get hot again. And I'm starting to notice it's having to do with these river levels, where the river's at, what it's flowing, things like that. It makes a big difference.
Hey, thank you for the compliment. That kind of stuff there is what helps drive us to dig and try to pull information together for you guys and try to come up with informational, segments for Tuesday nights. So thank you guys. You don't know how much those little comments mean.
Absolutely.
Couple folks in chat here have reached out to me through Messenger and shared some thoughts on what we do here. And man, I tell you, it goes a long way. So thank you very much for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I do appreciate it.
And in anything we can talk about, anything we can do to make the show even better, to give y'all better information, hey, we're all ears. Trust me.
Yep. We don't. And the thing is, and I know Jeremy feels the same way. We don't know it all, and we hope to never come across that way.
Oh no.
We love to share our experiences and what we've learned so far, and we're learning more every day. But if you've got questions and we don't know the answers to, man, we've got a wide world of cat fishermen, and between the two of us, we know a lot of good anglers. But we've got some.
That's what matters right there. Because I am not ashamed to call up one of these guys and say, "Hey, dude, I'm getting my butt kicked. What you have anything for me? Any ideas? I am not ashamed at all. Trust me."
Yep, absolutely. So, if you guys ever have questions or have a show idea that you think, hey, I always hear about this, and I'm not sure what that is. Believe me, you're probably not the only one. You just might be the only one who will admit it that they don't know something. There's all kinds of stuff I don't know.
The more I learn, the more I realize that I don't know. I'll be honest, because I learn a new thing, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. That means I don't know this, and this now. Like, okay, well, all right, get back on the research again.
There's a lot to it. You know what I mean? The days of sitting on a bucket on a riverbank and using lug nuts or bolts or for sinkers and throwing chicken liver out on the bottom. I mean, it still happens.
Yeah.
But we've evolved quite a bit. And
to be consistent, you got to be a little better than that.
Yes.
To be consistent.
Yes. That's the best way to put it. You can still catch fish that way. You can still have a good time that way. And some folks, that's all they ever want to do. And that is complete. Whatever makes you happy is what this is all about.
That's it. If
you don't enjoy that, then do something else.
Hey, that's what it's all about. And as far as river gauges go, and I know I'm in a different situation than a lot of people because, yes, I have a hydroelectric plant and 2 dams that are right here close to me, but they're not across the Mississippi River. They're on the side of the Mississippi, pulling water out of it into another river. So that means the Mississippi for me is completely unrestricted from the Gulf of Mexico, which is 332 miles from where I fish, all the way up to Cairo, Illinois, where the Ohio River comes in. It is completely wide open, unrestricted. And I know there's a lot of people out there, some of my boys in chat, I see y'all in there, that fish the same body of water I do, just way north of me. And what that allows us to do with these river gauges, and I'll pull this up right here real quick, is, let's see, let me switch to a different base map where y'all can see. There we go. Now we can see something. So you got all these options on these websites. It's incredible.
Oh yeah.
You put whatever base map that you like looking at. Okay. But I'm fishing way down here, right here at Red River Landing. That is my home territory. But I got some very good friends that fish way up here. Let's see, Caruthersville, New Madrid. It's unrestricted between us and them. But what I can do, I know that right here at Cairo, Illinois, if a dropper water passes Cairo, Illinois at that gauge, I know it's going to take 10 days for that drop of water to get to me. So what I can do with that information, whenever it'll decide to pull it up for me, this thing is going slow today. Come on now.
I have the same problem.
Yeah, I know. So what I can do, I can click right here on the Cairo gauge, and you can see at Cairo. I'm pointing at it like people can see me. But you can see that the past 7 days shows a pretty decent fall at Cairo. They're predicting a little rise, and it's going to go back down again. Now, from what Roger has been talking about, all the rain, all their stuff they've been getting, well, that's that predicted rise. That predicted rise is when Roger's water is going to hit Cairo. Well, I also know that rise in Cairo is still 4 days away. That means in another 10 days, I'm going to see that rise.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. 2 weeks from now, I will finally see that rise. That fall, that steady fall they've been having for the past 7 days. Well, when y'all looked at my graph, it showed a predicted fall. You're seeing it right here. You're right here. You're seeing all that predictive data. You can, basically every gauge down the Mississippi, more or less, is 1 day of water flow. The gauges are a day apart. So if ever you want to look, and I know the Ohio River could be the same way. Now I know y'all have pools and things that affect it. It's not wide open like the Mississippi is. But for the guys that fish the Mississippi and wide open rivers like that, start chasing those gauges upstream. It'll give you a much, much, much bigger look into the future and probably more accurate because you'll be actually looking at today's data, but on a gauge that's maybe 2 weeks from getting to you. I do that a lot, and I mean a lot. I do that.
Yeah. The Canal River last week, I fished it on Monday. Man, it was flowing hard. It was spitting out big trees and trash everywhere. I caught a handful of fish at best, but it was tough.
That's a good question. Hey, that's the expert right there.
Wait. Has anyone experimented with moving the line clip down the standoff closer to the planer board to decrease the line angle, which I'm hoping will decrease the side pull when anchoring and current? Okay, yes. So I've actually experimented with adding, making shorter stems. So you got the stem that comes out of the board, and the longer that is, you're right. The greater the pitch it's going to give, the harder it's going to pull, and depending on your heavy current or pulling fast, dragging fast, it will pull that clip unless you got a locking clip. Making that shorter will lessen the angle and will lessen the pull, and lessen the pressure put on the clip. How I make mine, I use aluminum crossbow or arrow shafts. And if you cut off however long you want off the end that normally you would put a broadhead in, you've already got a screw insert. Of course, you can buy those inserts, any place, and insert them yourself. But then what you do is that screw in goes in towards your planer board. You put a screw in the back, and now you just drill a hole in the front of that and take your, split ring and put it on there, whatever. So you can have, I actually was playing around with the idea of variable length planer board stems that had more than one hole in them, so you could choose which length. But I haven't really decided whether that was going to be something I pursue or just stick with different sizes. But yes, you can make them different sizes. You can't move the clip down the line closer to the planer board because of the stem. You'd have to change the length of the stem. So hopefully that's what you were asking, and it does work, and it will, because I'll be honest, I'm wanting to go up to Lake Erie and do some dragging for walleye, but you pull at 2 miles an hour, 2.2, and Uncle Lou planer boards playing so hard, they pull so well that they will pass you. And so I've got to cut the angle down so that I'm able to use them at a higher rate of speed. Otherwise, they're porpoising and everything else. So there's that.
Yep, and I can tell you for a fact that this gentleman here is fishing in the Mississippi River, because he fishes a little south of me, not very much, a little south of me. And we've had this conversation before about using planer boards, and I'm glad he got to ask that question to a true expert in planer boards, unlike me, who's dragged them like 3 days my whole life.
Right there, Freddie says, first fish caught on the Freddie Outdoor Adventure 6-foot rod, 24.7 pound blue. He's shaking.
That's right, what I'm talking about right there.
Oops.
I saw a question in chat. There we go. Mike Greenwell, try to explain the river gauge at Memphis, Tennessee. Okay.
Mikey, give me just a second here. Somehow I closed that window.
I've got it pulled up right here. Basically, what you're looking at right there is it's showing that same gradual fall in that hump that Cairo is showing. But basically, according to the Memphis gauge, the river is going to dive below what's called low stage, which low stage just means that the river's really low. That's all. That's that brown that you're seeing it's indicating that the water is going to be below the official low stage of that river.
Holy cow. That low?
Yeah.
That makes sense, because the screenshot he sent me, and I'll just pop it up here so Mike, that it actually shows right there negative 1.27 feet.
Yeah. Remember that 0 on the gauge does not mean that's the bottom of the river. 0 is just it's a point on the
reference.
That's really all it is. The 0 really doesn't mean anything. It really doesn't. And to see it fall below 0 that doesn't mean that the river is going to dry up. It's just zero is just they at some point they picked a spot. Okay, we're calling this zero and we're running the numbers from there. It's the same thing they do down here.
Right.
There have been times where it's been in a negative reading, not in the Mississippi, but the Chafalaya down here. It happens. It's it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah, and like he said, that zero is different. Unfortunately, for most places, I would think that it would be the same because this is a government-run organization, but it's not. So
yeah, and you're really, it's almost impossible to do that. The only way you could have, let's say, numbers that actually correlate with each other, you would have to run the gauges on sea level elevations instead of just gauge readings. And if that's the point, some of these gauge readings will have 4 digits because y'all are in the sometimes 1,000-foot elevations or more, and it just makes it too hard to deal with. That's all.
Says it was at 4, and they were making a big deal about it being high. Whole trees were floating down at 4. So I'm not sure because I'm looking at the action stage is 28 feet and minor flood stage is 34.
It's
so
low. That baby's low. I can tell you that right now. If the action is 28. Yeah, that's it's low.
Huh.
But this year has kind of been unprecedented as I'm concerned as far as river levels go. The river has gotten about the lowest I've seen it in a long time. Which that explains some of the things that I'm seeing down here that we don't normally see or don't normally see as much of. Which the sharks is one thing. Yeah, they're here. They come here, but this is the most anybody's ever dealt with. That's because the river's been so low so early. It has allowed that situation.
Right. We our water has been high this whole summer. We've never got down the summer pool more than a day or two. So it's kind of crazy. I should be able to suspend drift and catch fish all day at this time of year. The dam is not productive at this time of year. And so, sorry, I'm trying to load some other information up. And it's just not been that way. Like I said, our river here has been just kind of crazy. Last week, I said I went to Kanawha River, dump it into from Point Pleasant to the Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
I fished that pool because it's one of those pools like above mine that is consistent. They do not let that water go up and down much because the city of Gallipolis and a few others sit right on the water. So that pool of water is pretty consistent all the time.
Yeah.
And I still wasn't able to really pick up fish. It was crazy. I was catching channel cats in 54 feet of water.
Wow. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know.
And all that high water eventually has to come down here. It does. It's going to make its way down here. Now, just the Ohio River being high really doesn't affect us all that much. I mean, a 5-6 foot rise in the Ohio might give me another foot of water by the time it comes down here. But when you've got all of them that are high and want to dump all that water in, that's when my river starts going up. Local rainfall, that does nothing to the rivers here. As far as river level, rainfall does not affect it. It just doesn't. The rivers are too big for that, for it to really affect them.
That's what I was thinking, Greg. I was thinking about bumping.
Yeah.
Jeremy says there's a lot of trash in the river right now. What pool are you on, Jeremy? Wow. Yeah, I just read that.
Yeah. Yep. Takes a long. I mean, the Mississippi River is a long river, and you can jump across it like where it starts. I think it's Lake Itasca, I believe, in northern Minnesota, northern Wisconsin, something like that. It's almost in Canada. But Lake Itasca, I believe, is where it actually starts. It gets a little bit bigger than that when it comes down
Jeremy.
here.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Jeremy's right on my pool.
Green up.
That's me. And hang on, I want to show you guys something else. Hang on, let me see if I got the right graph up. I think hang on. Got something else here. Make sure it's not on the screen in case I open something I shouldn't open.
Yeah, you got to watch that.
Huh? Where'd it go? Oh, maybe it was in a group chat. Yeah, I think it was a group chat. We got the River Wars coming up.
Ooh.
And or what was it called? Battle of the Rivers?
Oh, yeah, Battle of the Rivers, I believe.
We'll get there in just a second. Hang on. Okay. Let me pull this over here. Something I want to show some folks, and it may be or may not be relevant to most of you, but we're going to go over this anyway. So when you go to the National Weather Service and you're looking at your map here or your gauge, you say, man, that's crazy. If you scroll down, it's going to tell you where that gauge actually is on your river. So in this instance, our gauge is right here. Mm-hmm. All right, at Greenup. Now, the thing about this is, if I can go on down, if I can get, is this the downside? Oh, wait, I got to go downstream gauge. I was looking at the upstream gauge. Yeah. So the downstream gauge here in Portsmouth, you guys can see is at Buckeye Park. Okay. Well, the thing about that is that's our river's running this way here, right? From the top down. If you come around the corner, right here's the Scioto River. And that Scioto River gets crazy and dumps a lot of water in. But see, this gauge is only showing before the Scioto River.
That's right.
You would have to go to the next gauge down, which I think is probably Meldal, to see what's going on in that pool because it's not going to capture what's coming out of that small river. So something to always kind of keep in mind is where is that gauge at so that you know where that data is coming from. So I know that my data for right here downstream is coming from right here on the bend in Portsmouth, right at Buckeye Park. So like we go down to J-Dog's area or Chad's area down there at Pickle Park, their water is their gauge is somewhere down through there. I'm not sure because I don't look at it.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong, but just with that example you're showing, if you compare relative readings from the upstream and wherever the next downstream one is, if you see a big differential in them without even looking at anything else, that should tell you that that river is flowing a lot of water dumping into the Ohio, correct?
Yep.
That's that clue without even having to go right out there and go look. That'll be a clue to say, hey, what is it? The Scioto River, you call it?
Yeah, the Scioto, this one here.
Yeah, that Scioto River must be humping because look at the gauge readings upstream and downstream of it. That must mean I got a lot of water coming out of it.
Yeah. So right here would be the upstream reading for it, which I'm not even sure what that is, to be honest. I really don't fish above our dam here at all. I've just either it's a great kept secret and people are catching monsters and nobody will talk about it, or it really just doesn't put out very many fish because I never hear a fish coming out of upstream.
Yeah, and see for those people like me who like fishing confluences, especially when one is blasting and one isn't, that's key information to have right there because that can be some really good productive spots when the situation is right.
I'm not Harold on that. I don't think it will give us any of that type of information without Google Earth might be able to give you some of that information. I know Navionics obviously would.
Yeah.
You mean about Greenup Dam? Yeah, just this. I mean, I know farther up there people catch fish, but this whole, at least 5 mile stretch above the dam, I never hear nothing coming out of there. maybe even 10 miles above the dam. I never hear nothing come out of there. I never catch anything out of there because I don't fish it.
It kind of makes you wonder why, doesn't it?
Well, I asked a couple very reputable fishermen in my area, how come nobody fishes up there? And the exact words were, because there aren't any fish up there. There aren't enough to go chasing, is basically what I was told.
Okay.
You can go up there and try to catch a fish if you want. But
see, some people take that as a challenge.
Well, I'm challenged enough from birth, so I don't need.
Yeah, you don't need anything extra, huh?
Speaking of birth, it's Mr. Creole's birthday today. If you guys haven't already wished him a happy birthday.
You're killing me. Oh, Roger, it's a good thing I love you. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can maybe drop a thumbs up for the show tonight for Jeremy if you don't mind, or throw a birthday cake in the chat there so he can see the love. Did I freeze?
I'm just a little bit for like a second. I'm just gonna hide right here.
He's hiding. So
I'm gonna hide.
All right, so we're going to talk about we're going to change gears just a little bit here because coming up this weekend, right here on Muskrat Adventures, we have been called out by, I'm not going to call it the bait shop because Freddie's not in it. So it's Chad, J-Dog, and Chris Lee from Hooks and Hammocks has called out the River Warriors for a 3-on-3. Actually, they say they got a surprise guest, a ringer. They can put whoever they want on the boat. It doesn't matter to me. But we're going to be going at it this weekend, Saturday from 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're going to get
Hey, that is good thinking. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah. Well, we could start switching like you guys do the River Day, the River Rats thing. We could start switching back and forth each week. I mean, we're not making a killing on this channel either, but we can go to your channel.
I'm good. I like it how it is. The pressure is off me. You see, I can just come in and look pretty. I'm good, you know.
Well, it's your birthday. I'm going to let you have it. Anyway, we're going to start early. We're going to be at 7 a.m. to 1 p.m. So if you're sleeping in, just tune in when you can. See, you're going to show them the dams. I can't click on that. Can you click on it?
No, cannot.
Well,
actually that's the same website. I think that's the same website I have pulled up. It just I'd have to see if I can find where the dams are.
Hang on, I'm going in here.
Let's see. Hang on a sec.
Bobcat says you're the prettiest raccoon you ever saw. Yeah, I was going to say, I thought he was a moderator. I've got it here. Hang on.
I'll take that. I'll take whatever I can get.
So, yeah, that's the NOAA. I'm not. So this one here is like the dams down through here. I'll show it real quick.
Okay. So yeah, there you go.
This is what Jim's talking about. I need more pictures than this. But right here, you got like RC Bird Dam. Let's see. There's the Markland Dam. That's where Chad's at. So right there, some of their flow levels. Now, it's going out in future cast. So, these are going to be predictions. I honestly, I never used this page. So I'm not going to sit here and try to fake my way through it because I don't know. I've never used this page. So it may be something. And Jim, if maybe I'm not clicking on the right tab here for you, but if you have more information on this you want to share with me, I'd be happy to. You shoot me a message and stuff, or give me a call, and we'll kind of talk through it. But for me, I can't make heads or tails out of this, so I'm not going to embarrass myself, and I'm not going to fake it. You know what I mean? I don't know what I'm looking at, and
we fake enough stuff on the show as it is. We don't need to push our luck.
You still got birthday cakes and cupcakes and everything else rolling in for you, buddy.
And so somebody back there made a comment about how it felt to be over the hill. I've been over the hill for a few years now, so but yeah, it's still not fun.
Matt's right. The Corps of Engineers took that site down, and man, it used to give us the historical. It used to give us the flow rate, and that's for like guys like us that like to bump. That flow rate is really, as a really golden piece of information. Now we're having to, get used to what the flow rate should be given the height. Yeah. You see, the height doesn't always mean, fast.
That's right. Yeah.
So, because they could be holding water back. So your water might be high, but they're holding water back, so it's not moving through quickly. So
exactly,
it's not,
especially when you're dealing with a hydro.
Yeah.
It depends on what they're generating. That just all depends. I've seen it raging when it's low, and I've seen it dead when it's high. And it changes day to day. It changes. I've seen it change while I was bumping. I've seen it change. Hey, sometimes that's how it is.
Well, like Greenwell and the what was it? Oh, not Monsters in the Ohio, the Ohio Pool Party.
Yeah.
Greenwell and them had, they were struggling, and then all of a sudden they started getting flow, and they said, "Heck with this, let's go bump it." Yep. And I'm telling you, given another hour, I think they would have won that thing. We were lucky it ended when it did.
Makes a big difference
because our bite was going down, and that's the thing. It got to be that about that time of day, everybody got slow at the same time. Yeah. Chad was catching fish, and they dropped off. We were catching fish and dropped off. Greenwell and them were slowly catching fish, but as soon as they increased the flow, things started to turn around for them. But that time of day, everybody's fishing stopped. Yeah, early slowed way down.
It's amazing.
So that's why we're doing our tournament from 7 to 1. You got to get up early because we like to get up early and be on the water first thing.
Yeah,
these tournaments. I understand the need to start some of the tournaments at like 8 and 9 o'clock because of time zones. Mm-hmm. Just so happens, all 6 of us or 7 or how many people they plan on putting on a boat to try to beat us. We're on the same time zone.
Yeah, and then later that afternoon, for those who don't want to wake up early, it'd be up early with me anyway. Starting at 5 p.m. Central Time, the Hogleg crew, Hogleg Catfishing, has called out the Mississippi River Rats. So 5 p.m. Central, that challenge will be on Parker Pursuits on Jerry's channel, and we can see if we can have us a little hog roast live on YouTube.
That's going to be a good one. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yep. It's going to be a four-man teams, biggest 5 fish by weight, regardless of who catches them. Okay, it's 5 biggest. No, if one person catches all 5 of the biggest fish, then then it is what it is. But 5 biggest fish, Joey's can pull in fish. We rolling. And we go see if we can't run some hogs over.
Our gig is going to be most fish, so we're just going to be going all out. We thought that's going to be a funner show to watch than everybody trying to hunt a hog. Gotcha. So we're going to see what we can do about that. Next week we have a very, very special guest coming on, and I don't want to put his name out here just yet. I think we've got everything locked in, but a friend of the community and has had double lung transplant, and the story, this young man's story is incredible. And I'm fortunate enough to be in the connections to know what's going on with him. And we're actually going to be, not me, there's actually going to be a tournament held at Sandusky Bay in September 24th. That will be a benefit tournament to help him and his family out. As you can imagine, medical costs, just gas for the family and to be there and going back and forth. There's a ton of expense, and money can't fix everything, but it sure can lessen some burdens. So I'm going to have them on next week, and we're going to talk a little bit about this tournament coming up Sandusky Bay. We're going to the young man is scheduled to actually be on the show with us, so we'll be able to hear firsthand his incredible story and journey. And so hopefully you guys are able to join us next week. It's sure to be a good one. And then after that, we're only a week or so away from the first. Yeah, that's a week and a half away from the first installment of So You Think You Can Fish.
Yes.
No electronics. Brand new waters. Who will prevail? Who can go out there and find fish, reading the water, reading the lay of the land, using their maps, old school techniques.
Old school, baby.
Who's going to come out on top of this? And I'm pretty excited about it, to be completely honest.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
yeah. I know this is something we talked about. It seems like forever, and finally Roger's like, you know what? We doing it. Let's go.
Yep. There's a lot of things. There's another. I'll probably wait till next week so I can iron out the details. But I've also got a very special event type thing planned for the channel members, and it's not to take anything away from anybody else that's not a channel member, but I really want to show some appreciation for the folks that have become channel members and that are helping us continue doing this week in and week out. And so I've got something pretty cool coming up for my channel members. You know me, never before seen stuff.
It is cool. He let me in on it, what he was thinking. Yes, y'all definitely want to be around for that. It is cool.
Yeah, so I'll get some details together for that. Just a little something to have some fun and show appreciation for the folks that, everyone has to use Zebco 33s.
Yeah, that would make.
I've already taken away their electronics. They're not even allowed having them on the boat. They got to be taken off the boat. They're not allowed to ever even go on the water to scout, check, look at nothing. They're virgin waters.
Yeah, baby.
And everybody in it, you just got to have enough integrity to do the right thing. Can I prove that somebody's been there? No, I can't prove that. But if you got to cheat to win this, hey, that's on you. You got to look at that yourself.
You got to live with that. You got to sleep at night. That's right.
Look at that. Don R says, I don't want to miss it. Get me in. Yeah, Don becomes a channel member. Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate that so much.
It's going to be good.
But so what else we got? Man, there's just a lot of stuff coming up.
I know. The next few months are just jam packed. I mean, I got
the next installment of the Catfish for Kids tournament.
Yep.
I've already got the dates picked out, coordinated with all the other YouTubers and tournament runners.
Yep.
So we've already got the dates picked and ready for that for the kids Halloween special kids tournament. So I'll be putting out signups. I probably won't start that until next month. We're still a little far away. So, and then we've got a lot of stuff. We've got a lot of stuff going.
Starting in, I'm going to say mid-October, but we're starting to work out all the dates for the teams for the Battle of the Rivers, and that, if only y'all could see the smack talking that is going on behind the scenes. I have never ever once, and I love me some good smack talk. I love it. And y'all that's in that message, y'all know that about me now.
We know.
Yeah. And I have never seen it like this before. It is awesome. When my phone starts going off in those messages, man, I can't wait.
I sit there saying I got messages popping up. That's what it is. That group chat is going berserk, which means nobody's in here watching us, Jeremy.
Yeah, I know, right?
We'll have to go in there and bash some heads.
I got something for them. I got plenty of room for more trophies on my wall. That's all I'm going to say. I got plenty of room for more.
It's hard to talk smack from the Ohio River, but stranger things have happened. We're going to give it all we got. I'm having a hard time picking a team because I put a post out to be fair and consistent. I put a post out on Facebook saying, hey, if anybody's interested, there we go. Year celebration.
Yet another event coming up. 10-year 10-year sober celebration. That is awesome.
Man, that is
definitely gonna check that out.
That is a huge event.
Yes.
Mike, if you need any help with that or anything, just holler at me. Whatever we can do to make that's a big deal. And I think it needs to be a big deal.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's something that, there's so many things so many tournaments and challenges and all this stuff going on that you miss stuff. And I do. I miss stuff all the time. But but that there, I think needs some attention.
For the next few months, you're going to have a hard time picking your phone or your computer up and not seeing some kind of tournament or challenge live. You're going to have a hard time not seeing one. I'll be honest, because I know, because we're trying to schedule all this stuff in between each other and not run over somebody. It is tough. It is very, very tough.
So Pontoon Jody finally got on some fish. She thinks she's queen bee now. So she called me out, 1-on-1 challenge, most fish. So now she wants to do numbers, right? If you guys remember, she would never do numbers, but now she wants to do numbers. And so
she went total weight against me. And we all know how that worked out.
Yeah.
So I guess now she's going to jump in the numbers game, but against this guy. Hey, I don't know.
Hey, I'm not taking her stupid side bets. I ain't losing my underwear or shaving my head or nothing. So
we don't need all that.
Yeah, I'll do side bets, but they're going to be smart side bets. I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What Pick says we can do numbers. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to wrap things up. I'm actually going to be on the water tomorrow morning. I cannot decide if I'm going to go hit the Ohio River and try to battle it out, or if I'm going to go to the lake and try to load up on some bluegills, some crappie, and some shad so that I can fish. Because I plan on fishing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday.
Let's see. Can I remove him from the stream? Can I? I sure can. That's just wrong. That's just wrong.
Side bets are for Roggy. Yeah, Mike said votes River. I'll probably go live. I might work with Lee and see if he's going live in the morning and either go up on his show. And
there you go.
That way I got somebody that can read chat for me and talk to me, or maybe if nobody's live, I might go live and bring somebody on that's got time to chat. So either way.
Yep. Yeah. See, Lee, I like what Lee Evans got going on. Lee Evans is now, his little show in the mornings is now like that little coffee shop that everybody stops at in the morning before they go to work. It's like that. It's got that vibe going. And I like it. Because y'all know me. I'll make a little audio appearance here and there. You don't ever see my face on Lee's show because I'm always on the road, it seems like.
Yeah, me too. The only time I sit down long enough to listen to a show is when I'm driving. And it's not the safest thing in the world, but
no.
Eddie, I'm going to be, if I go to a lake, I'm going to be on Rocky Fork.
Ooh.
Rocky Fork. Crappie are hitting at Paint and Rocky. Ooh, well, I'm wondering. I haven't caught any. You have an invite to come on Thursday after work, Rock? I just might do that. I'm not quite sure what exactly the plans are. I thought about doing Jody's challenge, Flathead challenge Thursday night. I haven't done any night fishing for a while. Brian Catfish Bandit says he's thinking about going live tomorrow as well. Get it, man. There is no harm, no foul. I think the more people out fishing, the more stuff. What is a crappie?
I had to highlight that. That's Brian. He's from around here like me. That is Sac-A-Lait for those of us, non-Louisiana. That's what Sac-A-Lait is.
I got you.
You had to throw that one out there. I love it.
I haven't caught any for a while, so I don't have any in the freezer. And man, they're starting to sound good.
I know, right?
Harold said, "Holler if you need a net man."
Hey.
So it's bait. There you go.
Sometimes when it's
all right, guys,
any kind of fishing is good fishing. I mean, look, we all love catfishing, but let me tell you something. You get on a bunch of Sac-A-Lait, a bunch of brim, something like that. It's a good time. Catching bait sometimes is a blast. I mean, you get on a bunch of slicker and you get the time of your life.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I go down to Wheeler Dam and go down there to fish and go start, man, it's hard. It is hard to pull yourself away to go catfishing because it is so fun.
Oh yeah, and then I would love to catch those big ones like they have because they don't get as big here as, let's say, like what Doc and them catch.
Yeah,
man, I'd love to catch some of them real big ones.
Yeah, they got some big ones there. We love it.
Yeah, baby.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and sign out. We'll see you guys here next Tuesday night. Same cat time, same cat channel. See y'all.
Fish, everybody.